Welcome to the Two Guys Show from the EdReach Network, who give educators a big voice. This is episode number 11 on great November 5th. I'm at Tech Minnock, Drew Minnock. I'm one of your hosts. You can always check us out at our blog at twoguysandsomeipads.com, and my other host is always...
I am Brad Wade. Nice to see everyone tonight. I am at Tech Brad Wade on Twitter, and as Drew said, you can reach us at twoguysandsomeipads.com. And we are thrilled to have the awesome Brad Gustafson with us tonight. How you doing, Brad? Nice to see you.
I'm doing awesome, guys. Been looking forward to this for a while, and I was going to say episode 11 sounds pretty exciting. Usually the number 11 is my golf score, so it's good to be part of a positive 11.
Is that right for a hole?
Exactly.
Oh, man.
Nice. I think Brad and I can go golfing, and Drew is just way too good. He's a really good golfer.
Yeah.
So hopefully this number 11 will be better than number 11 on like a hole. Let's just say that.
Exactly. I'll get a snowman sometimes in an 8, so I can only imagine 11 be a little worse than an 8. But Brad, so you're an elementary principal, and you're what we call a game-changing educator. So we're thrilled to have you join us tonight, and you know how the show works. We'll go through our regular segments, but we do have a change tonight, and what we're going to do is we're going to throw out AR Corner, because that's what a lot of our discussion is going to be with you. So people who know the show routine, we'll still do This Week in Twitter. We'll have the interview, then we'll go through the Ed Tech, and then the shout-outs, and then our playlist. So, well, we know, Brad, you're doing a lot of amazing things. We first connected with you probably last summer, sometime with some cool AR that you did, and we'll get to those stories. But, yeah, I'm thrilled you're with us this week. So, and I know Drew and I have been talking about it, and we're looking forward to it.
Hey, thanks, guys. It's been great. The thing I like about you guys is you're not only changing the game, but you offer so much support along the way. I've been able to collaborate, and I check in with Drew actually quite a bit on, Drew, how does this work? And he shares what's new. So it's been a really neat relationship.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good.
So we know there's a lot of cool things that we want to talk to you tonight. Drew, do you want to start off with one of the things that we want to talk with Brad about?
One of the things, I'm excited about this. I think it's a phenomenal concept, but I'm going to have Brad explain it a little bit more. But what is the World Book Talk?
All right, awesome. So the World Book Talk, it's based on augmented reality, obviously, and the Erasmus app. Yeah, amen to that. The concept is any student in the country can pick up a book and have access to a book talk from either an adult, a teacher they look up to, or even a classmate or somebody from halfway around the world. So in a nutshell, that's what the World Book Talk is, and we're just looking at to combine two things that kids love, and that's reading and literacy, and then the technology.
I love it, and that's one of the things we talk about when we have our students do the book reviews just to our classroom library, is just getting that review from someone you don't really know, that's not necessarily just reading it's not the same as reading the back cover or whatever, getting a quick summary of what the book's about from the publisher, but to actually have someone who read it. And a lot of times for the students, someone their age, telling them kind of what their perspective of the book is. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I think above and beyond a student or a classmate sharing, the tech has credibility with kids. It is their life, and to be able to view that neat thing, it's not only informative, but it's cool. It's engaging.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Drew and I talk about that all the time, whether it's on the show or we're somewhere live. We say, look, kids are growing up in this world. This is their world. Why are we trying to teach them for a world that existed 20 years ago, or the world we think it's going to be in 10 years right now? Let's teach them in the world they live in today. And we say this all the time. They're already comfortable with the technology. They're already using things like this. It's the adults that have the hang-ups. We're the ones who are a little more uncomfortable with it. So we need to get over that and really embrace the technology, because the kids do. They're ready to jump in and succeed, fail, whatever, try again, and say, oh, that was cool, and then learn from their mistakes. So, as you said, it's a technology the kids are using, they're familiar with, so we might as well take advantage of that technology and use it as a Midas touch for us to engage them and deepen their learning.
Yeah, and, at our school, the approach is we don't fault anyone for having the speed bumps along the way or for being nervous about trying something new. It is hard and different. As a matter of fact, I had our head of our cafeteria system come to me a year or so ago, and she wanted to try a new way to serve fruit in the cafeteria. Sounds pretty innocuous, but I have to confess, within the first 10 seconds, I'm thinking to myself, we can't change how we serve fruit. You know, how are the kids going to self-serve their own fruit? And if I'm guilty of having that fear of change over serving fruit, I think it's perfectly normal for someone to be a little reticent to try augmented reality. But once they see the results and the kids' faces, and there's no turning back, and that's why I'm here tonight.
Oh, I love it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. For those of you who are just joining us, we're with Brad Gustafson, the principal. He's doing a lot of great augmented reality stuff. You can reach out to us at #2GuysShow. So we'd like to hear from you as the show goes on. We will keep an eye on the Twitter feed as we go. So Brad, another thing that I want to ask you about is what's the deal with the 3 leaders making videos? What's that about? I've heard some about that. So can you explain that to us?
Yeah, no problem. So the title probably sounds strangely familiar. Two guys and some iPads, but 3 leaders, 3 leaders making videos. We decided to be really original with the name, but the concept is it's a cross-state collaborative. It's a middle school assistant principal in New Jersey, John Fritzke. We had an elementary principal in New York. And this is Tony Sinanis is actually the one who started this all with TouchCast, and he has his kids do a regular weekly news feature using that app, and we just started this week at our school. But the premise is 3 schools, 3 leaders coming together, amplifying student voices, using technology, putting it in kids' hands so they can take ownership over their education, what's happening, and report out. And kind of, quite frankly, the thing that I chuckle about is if I'm a parent sitting at home getting a weekly e-news, who do I want to hear from? The principal and his kind of mundane ramble, or the kids at the school and their take and some neat technology that they're using? I think the choice is pretty obvious.
Absolutely. I think it's great. I think that is a phenomenal concept. And if you guys haven't played with the app TouchCast, I don't know how that app is free, to tell you the truth, but it is, and it is awesome. Yeah. So highly recommend downloading that and just give it to the kids. Let them play with it because they will blow your minds at some of the creative things that they can come up with. I know that my students have.
Absolutely. Well, hey, Brad, so let's talk about how we all connected this summer. I don't know if you remember one of the first things we talked about. You do something typically every summer to get ready, get your students back into the building, and you get something for them, and you create something for them. Can you tell us what you've done always, and then can you tell us the spin that you put on it this year?
Oh, great. God, flashback. So the past, this is my 4th year at the school that I'm at, and it's just a marvelous place. That the staff is just amazing. It's humbling. But to connect with the kids, my first year I sent out baseball cards just with a few, here's a, how this will work, if you can see that or not, but I sent the kiddos a
awesome
principal's trading card on the back. It had some fun facts, my favorite school lunch, mini corn dogs, a quote, a little bit of info about the character program.
Right.
Each year our talented communication specialist at the district, we kind of made it just a little bit better and different. Well, this year I came across you guys talking about augmented reality, and I thought, augmented what? I look into it, I connect with Drew, and it's like, this is the coolest thing. So I did the standard baseball card, embedded an aura on it, and really we actually made 2 models of the card, but one of them is me slam dunking a basketball, and what the kids got to see was the behind the scenes, how it was made, and they can see I can't really palm a basketball. It was duct taped to my hand. Obviously I have no vertical. I mean, my vertical is like an inch, so I'm on a ladder dunking. So that's the story in a nutshell. But I gotta thank you guys for just your sharing and support getting it launched.
Well, what I remember about that is, it was, I don't know, it's maybe late summer, midsummer when we got together about that. And Drew and I we talked about how cool that was, and we're always looking for innovative,
I love that.
Creative. And the cool thing is like one thing you don't know, Brad, is we have shared that story many times. I mean, we probably share the story almost every time Drew and I have been in front of a crowd. Just because one of the things we always talk about is, you're only limited by your creativity, so and by your imagination. So if you can think it, you can pretty much do it. So don't be afraid to say, well, what about, or what if? So that's actually where our Google Doc came from. integration of AR, the document we have on our blog, where it's ideas that come from people like you and other educators across the country about how they're using AR in education, not just in the classroom, but the building, the district level, and so on. So I know that was months and months ago, but that story is still resonates with us, and it's just so creative and so cool. So appreciate you sharing that with us.
Yeah, I love the fact, and I bet the students' reactions were priceless. I bet they absolutely loved it as well. I know that we need to take just a minute to thank our EdReach supporters. So the EdReach supporters, as the last couple of shows, if you've been following along, is Audible. Audible.com with the free audiobooks. They have free audiobooks. They have audiobooks from just about any book that you can think of. From one of our favorites, we've recognized him every week, is Daniel Pink. He has amazing things. Sir Ken Robinson is on there, a phenomenal resource. Definitely check out audible.com for audiobooks and things like that. So once you're done watching our show, head on over there and check it out. That's for sure. I'll tell you what. Absolutely. I want to jump back to the World Book Talk real quick. I got a quick question about that. Just kind of what brought that on, that idea, and just kind of what kind of sparked that to get started?
That's a good question. It boils down to Erasma being this, I think what Brad said, if you can dream it, you can do it with Erasma. Yes. And I'm sitting there thinking, I love books, and I love technology, and I want what's best for kids and their future, okay? And then it just kind of came to me, kids could create book talks. And granted, with the World Book Talk, we've started with a core group of connected educators, but the vision is where kids are actually starting to create these, and they're accessible. But then I connected with somebody at H.C. Cooper, 815
yes.
in Texas.
Is it Heather Cooper?
Yep, you got it. And she's been just great to collaborate with, so we're kind of on this journey together. And the funny thing is, I met her through her husband, who is just this innovative, engaging teacher doing all kinds of different things. And here, the side benefit of having an awesome PLN is you get to know your PLN spouses, and now I'm learning from Heather too. So that, in a nutshell, that's how we started, and we're excited about the direction. Just while I'm here, I just got your book talk here recently, Drew. So people get an idea of this. I should have had Erasma up, but any student, they pop. I got to work on my camera angles here. They look at the book through Erasma, and they'll see their teacher, Drew, doing a book talk for this book. And really, in the first minute, it's not all about selling the book and having the student decide, hey, I want to read that. Some kids, we want them to realize, hey, that's not going to be for me, and maybe that 285-page book isn't the best investment in my time. So in just a couple minutes' time at a guided reading table or a cafe reading, they'll have a good idea of what they want to dig into and have a lot of ownership in it. So.
Absolutely. I was talking to Brad about that before the show started. I love that book. And one of the reasons I love that book is just, the detail that goes into that story and how it's so different than any other, book that our students read. When they have to take so much time, they really have to pay attention to the detail of those pictures, because the pictures a lot of times tell the story, and the words kind of pick up where the pictures leave off at certain times. And I listened to the author say that, because if you read the book or watch the video, it's all about like slow motion film, like silent films, back in the day, like the flip books.
Yep.
And that's kind of what he wants the pictures to be like, is like a silent film, and it is just such an amazing book, and 284 original hand-drawn pictures in that book that kind of help tell the story, and it's phenomenal. I absolutely love it.
And just hearing you talk, Drew, this is exactly what the World Book Talk is about. You pick a book you're passionate about, and as a student, you get to hear somebody who's passionate and sharing the theme. That's what I want my kids and my students to hear, somebody who's really into the book. And that's exactly it. And then it builds on that love of literacy, and then they're creating their own. And back to your earlier question, Tech Ninja Todd was nice enough to do an aura for us. We bought some of his Spruce and Lucy books.
Yes.
He sent a custom greeting for our school. It was awesome. That's actually, I think, what maybe triggered this whole concept, because we're able to bring an author into our school, quick connection to the book, and he did a brilliant, passionate, moving book talk talking about kids' genius, and Angela Myers has been preaching that message, and it's an important message. So basically, I think that was, if I'm being honest, probably the catalyst for the World Book Talk.
Had a boy, Tech Ninja Todd. I'll tell you what. I don't know if everybody knows. Well, if you watch the show, you know who Todd is. But anyway,
right.
Everything that guy touches right now turns to gold. I told him, I was talking to him on the phone on the ride home today, and I go, dude, you need to go buy a lottery ticket. He goes, why? So I can win, and you're gonna want to claim half of it. I go, hey, half's better than nothing.
Oh.
Yeah,
honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's one thing I was going to shout out is, and Drew and I even talked about this today. You know, Todd is just on a roll right now. He's in a groove. Everything's going great. He did a keynote on Monday at the ETLC conference, the EdTech Learning Conference in Virginia, and it was cool. I was lucky enough to have a front row seat. I talked him into. He's like, I'm not going to know anybody. I said, I'll just put me in, GHO me on your iPad. And so he goes, really? I said, yeah, throw me on. So right next to his laptop, he put his iPad up, and I got to just kind of watch and hear what was going on. We had seen his talk before, but it was kind of cool and nice to see that firsthand. So
yeah, yes. Everything he gets is much deserved. That's for sure.
Oh, yep. For sure. Yeah, absolutely. But hey, so Brad, you mentioned something a little earlier in the broadcast, and those of you who are just joining us on the Two Guys Show on the EdReach Network, we're with Brad Gustafson, awesome, innovative, creative technology principal in Minnesota. Brad, something you mentioned earlier, I want to kind of come back to. You used the phrase amplifying student voices. You know what? I'm all in favor of. I haven't used that phrasing before, but I'm behind the idea.
It.
I do too. I love it. I think it's well worded. Can you just kind of tell me what that means to you, that phrase, amplifying student voices? Because I know you were passionate when you brought it up. So kind of can you elaborate on that idea a little bit?
Yeah, well, for starters, I think it's fair for me to say that what I'm sharing here, a lot of it I'm learning from my PLN on Twitter, so I certainly don't want to pretend that I coined that term. I believe it to my core that schools exist for kids, not for principals and teachers and parents, although they're great places of community, but they are for kids, and we need to teach each and every one at a really high level. And there is nobody more prepared to do that than the teachers in our classrooms right now, and there's nobody more who gets kids better and can hear kids than their teachers. And the beauty and the synergy of this 21st century education that we can do right now is you take a tool like the iPad, you pair it up with a student, you give them some good digital citizenship lessons and ongoing support, and you hear them roar. I think that's maybe another Tech Ninja Todd term.
That's another Todd. Eric Todd. Still, it's like he's here tonight.
Yeah.
Holy
I'll tell you what, that guy.
Oh, he hits the nail on the head. But you let kids roar, and you they're gonna fall down just like we all do. But you support them, you learn from it. But the whole thing about amplifying student voices, they're the ones that we want to hear, and certainly we have kind of the wisdom of the ages. We have a tech integration specialist in Wayzata who is phenomenal. He's been just a gift to our kids and to me personally. But helping me as a learner, but he talks about how kids can do this, and it's their world, but they need adult wisdom, and that's where the education comes in.
So true, so true. Talking about amplifying kids' voices, I discovered something this week in my classroom with AR. I just had an iPad, had Erasmus open. I think I shared this with Drew. I had Erasmus open, and I just had the lens on, the camera. And next thing I know, no matter where I pointed it in my room, auras were coming up. They had dropped so many auras all over my room that we actually took a lesson to go find all the auras in the classroom. And I jumped in with the tech integration group at ESDEC this week in Kansas, and that was actually one of the things I showed them. And I bring that up because you said a couple things. Let kids roar. Have their own voice to be heard and take responsibility for their learning with some good digital citizenship. And with those things in mind, with the right person just kind of like guiding, that's all we are. We're guides. We inspire. We kind of help them along and watch out for them. I was amazed. I mean, I could not. I've got this giant world rug, this rug in the front of my room, and every country and every picture on there has a different aura, and so we ended up making like a math lesson out of it because we ended up doing tally marks, and we did a chart on it and stuff like that, and it was so wild. if you give the kids the freedom to be creative, they're always amaze you, and I'm just always impressed. So I love your message. I think you're doing it the right way, and that's why part of the reason we're thrilled to have you on here tonight. So thanks again.
Hey, thank you. You said, I'm a big fan of your guys. You said something pretty interesting, that you have auras popping all over your classroom, and that just tells you you're giving kids a chance to dive in and create. But I have a new segment. I don't know if guests are allowed to do this, but I'm calling it the AR ambush. I created an aura that's in your house right now, Brad Wade. Can you?
Oh, you're kidding!
Can you put your iPad in Erasmus up to your Is that the Argentinian national soccer flag, or is it a Manchester?
Wait! You've got to be kidding me. Are you talking?
Let's see if this works. Yep.
He's got a. Oh, geez.
Are you serious?
Let's see if it works here. This has not been tested.
Oh, all right. So let me.
Well, let's hope he's following the channel.
I am.
Yeah, I don't think.
All right.
I'm crossing my fingers here.
Oh my God, this is crazy.
If this works, it's going to prove what a fan I am here.
Look at him. He's like a kid on Christmas morning.
I am. Oh my God, it's coming up. All right, come on, Erasmus. Don't be so slow. Oh, I have like no signal down here. Come on.
We need to start a donors now to upgrade Brad's Wi-Fi.
No way. Let me get my mini. I'll get my mini out.
Look at him.
I know. I'm so excited.
Make sure you're connected to Wi-Fi.
I am. All right. Oh yeah, this one's on Wi-Fi.
Okay,
AR ambush, huh? Oh my God.
AR ambush.
I am so excited.
I gotta tell you, a lot of scouting went into pulling this off. So I hope it works.
I'm about to say, how in the world could you get a picture of this? Really? I gotta log in?
No, you don't need to log in.
It's making me log in.
Oh my God.
Man. I should have maybe given you a warning, huh?
This is awesome.
No, it's way better when it's like this, where he's just like, he doesn't even know what to do. He's so frazzled right now. He's so caught off guard.
Well, no, trust me when I say it's gonna be. If this works, it's gonna be worth it. It's good.
I love it.
Are you subscribed to the Greenwood Elementary channel on your mini, Brad?
Not on the mini. I'll do it right now because I'm on my phone, which I've got no.
So maybe that's a good chance for anyone who's tuning in or who sees this, who's not familiar with Erasmus. You have to follow the person's channel to be able to see the auras they've created. So that's what Brad's doing right now.
Oh my gosh, the AR ambush! This is killing me. Brad told me before the show that he had done something like this, but man, the reaction we're getting is just absolutely priceless.
Oh yeah, all right, I'm following. All right,
because he is seriously a kid in a candy store right now. He doesn't know what to do with himself. Just wait till that purple swirl pops up. He's gonna freak out.
That's right.
Come on, baby.
And I'm the worst at keeping surprises too, so I'm pretty proud
closer.
of myself. Is it working, Brad?
Oh, yeah. No way.
Isn't that great?
No way. Oh my God, no way. He's got a 2 guys foam finger?
So I'll just tell you guys, for those who can't, oh, there you go.
Oh my God, no way. Check this out. He dropped an aura in my room, in my basement, everybody. Oh my God. He dropped an aura on the Manchester City flag. How sweet is that?
So Look at you're not the only soccer fan in the room, Brad.
Really?
Yeah. So for those who, I custom made, if you can see this, I added a finger to a, I got to work on my podcasting.
This is perfect.
There we go.
Oh my God.
Custom made 2 guys foam finger.
No.
There you go.
How did you? That is awesome.
No. Wow. I will never forget that, man. I've never been part of an AR ambush. That was like the coolest.
Oh my gosh. I am absolutely dying right now.
Oh my God. I don't know if people can see it on my face, but that was like Christmas, baby. You know, I mean, I remember when I told Drew this, I was talking to him about Twitter. I said, man, it's like, I love when I'm in my Twitter feed and I pull it down and like, instead of it going back up, it drops with more Twitter feeds. I'm like, it's like Christmas. It's like a little Christmas present. Well, this was even better, man. I get to check out an aura in my basement that somebody else dropped on me. Brad, that is awesome. That was well played, my friend. I'm very impressed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh my God. I don't even know how we go on from there. That was just priceless. Let's just
seriously.
That's That's like when you're rapping or whatever, you just drop the mic.
Drop the mic and you walk out.
It just drop the mic and walk out. This game is over.
Oh, that is awesome.
Oh
Wow.
my gosh.
I love it.
For those of you who just joined us, we are on the Two Guys Show with the awesome Brad Gustafson. If you're wondering why the show just got derailed, we just had an AR ambush dropped on us. I actually had to move around my basement. I'm probably about 500 miles away from Brad, and he dropped an aura in my basement on my Manchester City soccer flag, which was awesome. So thank you for joining us, everybody, and having fun with this conversation.
Oh, I'm dying.
Yeah, I don't know if we can get
awesome.
it back. I don't know if we're gonna be able to get it back on track. That was the first AR ambush we've ever been a part of.
It's completely thrown me off.
That was pretty awesome, Brad.
Oh, that was just great. That was phenomenal.
All right, so Brad. All right, so we've got a lot of the formal questions out of the way, and we've talked about some of the things you said. Can you just give us, if I was a visitor walking into your building, and I wanted to get a feel of what your building was about, what would you hope that I walked out of there thinking about your building, as far as like what you guys are up to, what's the spirit like, what's the leadership want to accomplish in your building? What would that be?
Great question. Before any technology, we want it to be a place for kids, and I can honestly say I feel like when I walk into school and when I do tours with parents, they feel that community, and we have the most, not to knock any other school, but the most committed teachers, and it's just a daily inspiration, and that's what it is. This is a place for kids. We're a community of learners, and some of us have this passion for technology. Others have, the responsive classroom, and it comes together in our PLCs and the work we do together, and it ultimately is just a great thing for kids. So, in a nutshell, we're for kids, and I want people to know that that's the unswerving mission of our school. So.
That is awesome.
For those of you, please connect with Brad. He's got his Twitter handle there. Brad, what can you give us the size of your building? Just teachers and students, roughly.
Sure, we're at 821 students.
Wow.
And,
Whoa.
Yep. In a district, we have roughly 110 staff members, and that includes everyone on the team: custodians, cooks, principal, et cetera, et cetera. So.
Wow.
You know what? I just want to say something about that, because I think that is awesome that you said that, because a lot of people would not include them into your staff. They would just say teachers and maybe resource room or support staff. But the fact that that right there shows the leadership and the community that you're building there, is that it's not just the teachers. It takes a whole family, a whole community to do this, and the custodians. I mean, the people that work in food. I mean, everybody, just all the way down to the people. You got the bus drivers, the people, the parapros, everybody that helps out. It is a whole team group effort, and I think that right there, how you just said that, says so much about your leadership and about what your school is like.
Oh, thanks, Drew.
Absolutely. Are you a K-5 building? What are you?
Yep, we're K-5. We have 7 elementaries in our district, and it's just a great place to be. Each school has its own personality, but it's within the umbrella of just excellence and trying to help each and every student achieve and grow. So
it's just a little cold, though, isn't it?
You better believe it. I was worried I'd have I went out and did recess football with the kids today, and I had my stocking cap on for football, and I was worried I'd have hat hair for the podcast. It was pretty bad earlier today. It's cold.
Yeah, where are you? Wyzetta, where is that? What in relation? Where is that in the state?
Yeah, we're really close to the city. It's a suburb, so 30 minutes away.
From which cities?
From St. Paul, approximately. Okay. Yeah, really rough estimate.
Okay.
All right, yeah, we're kind of the same way. We're 25, 30 minutes outside Detroit, so same kind of thing.
And are you guys at the same building?
We are. Drew and I are right down the hall. Can you believe that?
That's awesome.
Hallway. We share iPads. We'll go vent. We'll go get inspired. We'll collaborate. Actually, Brad. A lot of people have heard our story, but that's how we kind of got started. We had 5. I was part of a pilot program. Had 5 iPads, and Drew and I were on the tech committee together. And then I was lucky enough to get 5 more, and then we really started collaborating. And just because we started finding awesome stuff. I mean, Drew and I were just like on a mission. I mean, talking all night. It was ridiculous. I mean, so we started sharing. Tell them, Drew, how crazy
it was crazy once we really discovered AR and started digging into it. Just kind of like, honestly, it's like we couldn't get enough. You know, we were like kid in the candy store. We just were every ounce of it. We're still like that, you know. I mean, every chance we get to come across new AR and things that we think will really change the way our students learn, you know, we're diving in head first. That's for sure. We're contacting the companies to see kind of like what we can get our hands on right away. And I mean, we want to be out in front of it, and we want our kids to have the most engaging things, you know.
Yeah.
So if it will help, we want it.
Yeah, and the cool thing is Drew and I were sitting on a couple boards for some ed tech companies, and so we're able to kind of give them the feedback, you know, some advisory boards and stuff. So through a lot of those connections, we're getting a lot of opportunities in the classroom to test things out, try things out with the kids, give them feedback. So you know, we're really getting a chance to dive in, as Drew said, and you know, it's all for us. It's all about student engagement and learning, and just deepen that learning. Not just worksheet after worksheet, but just true deep learning, you know, go down and get to what we need them to become learners of learning and love to learn. As Drew likes to say, the love of learning. So
I think that's one of the most important things kids can learn in the elementary level is to learn to love to learn.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, and I would say with my recent kind of connection to social media, and I don't know the timeline if it's been a year or 2 years, but I've seen myself more as a learner. I've been going to school for a really long time, but now I embrace that role. And I think before, when I struggled with technology, or you kind of pigeonhole yourself, but now I feel like I'm a learner. So if I don't know this now, I have that growth mindset, and I when I talk to kids about lifelong learning, it's from a place of deep passion now, where I can honestly say, you know, maybe 5 years ago I believed in lifelong learning, but now I'm living it. Thanks in part to my PLN and you guys, honestly.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I could not agree with that more, because I was always one of those people too. I always believed in it, and I believed in it, and I don't know if I really was a real lifelong learner. I mean, I tried to learn a lot, but, you know, the love to learn thing, you know, and I think that my fire has been refueled big time by my PLN and just social media and Twitter and everyone that, you know, has kind of inspired me. And I'll tell you what, it's exciting.
Yeah, it's, you know, I mean, on a daily basis. I mean, you know, I'll walk down to Drew's room, he'll walk down to my room, he'll come up, we'll get the iPads, we'll chat about some things that we found, and we'll talk about how it engages the students, and he'll try something one way, I'll try it a different way, and we'll kind of talk about the results, and sometimes we'll try things at the same time and not know it, and it's just, you know, it's just nice getting the opportunity to really work with these kids and just try to really get that big picture love of learning, because, you know, with all the technology, the smartphones, everything, if somebody needs to know an answer, we can get the answer with the right there question right away. You know, who built the, you know, when was the, you know, Mount Rushmore finished? Who signed the, who all signed the Declaration of Independence? We can get that, but we need to have people learn to know how to solve problems and be learners and collaborate and work together, whether they're kids or adults or whatever, it doesn't matter. So we're all on that same mission, and man, all the staff in your building, just they got to just feel like they're in the right place, because, you know, it starts at the top and it goes all the way down. Once you get to everybody, then it's no top and bottom. It's those networks and those collaborations and everybody working together as a unit. You know, somebody in some position may see a problem differently, and that may just, you know, work out for everybody, how they go about solving that solution for the entire building. So kudos to you, man. I love it.
You know, and I honestly, Brett, I think it starts at the bottom. I feel like my role is that of support and leading in the areas and when appropriate. But really, I see one of my objectives is just support learning and trying to put people in positions to succeed, where if they need something, whether it's a desk or, I don't know, an iPad or something, I mean, I want to help them knock down the barriers so that they can spend their time with our kids.
Some people don't realize, I mean, sometimes it is something just that simple. People are like, well, we need iPads, and we do that nice cut breath. You know, I mean, we need all these things. But really, sometimes it's just a desk. It's a notebook. It's, you know, simple things like that. It's not always the newest and greatest technology. Sometimes it's the simple things, you know?
And, you know, also, like, you know, a lot of times it's, you know, what I always try to do is I always try to support a teacher in a position that either has hit the wall or is trying to remember why they're doing this. And, you know, there's two different types of teachers out there. There's the ones that have only been doing it maybe 1, 2, 3 years. They're going to hit that wall, and the trick is to get them over that wall. Then you've got the teachers that are more veteran teachers. They've been doing their stuff for a long time. They know what they're doing. I want to make sure we reach all those teachers in whatever group they're in. And like it may be nothing more than just, remember, you may change a child's life with just a smile today.
Mm-hmm.
You may change a child's life with just saying, you know what, you're going to be awesome today, and watch how they live up to that expectation. And we got into this for the right reasons, and we just want to remember a lot of times it's just those small moments and those small things that can really either capture a kid or get a kid over a hard situation we may not even be aware of, and we may never know. We may not even know how we impacted that kid's life for 10, 15, 20 years. You get a phone call from an adult who is a child in your class or in your building, and they bring up a memory that you may or may not remember because it meant something to them. It wasn't a worksheet. It wasn't something they did. It was a
It's never a worksheet.
Exactly. You're right. It was a comment. It was a gesture. It was some moment that you gave them, whether you believed in them, you showed that they were capable of learning, whatever it was. I've gotten those phone calls. I have students who are adults now, and we're friends, and we've done things and collaborated and stuff. And it's just absolutely amazing when you can see that kind of impact. So we want to make sure that it's a grind. It's a daily grind. But we want to make sure that everybody remembers why they're in it, and they're truly having that impact. No matter what your role is in the education system, you are having an impact. So we just want to kind of keep that going and just stay out there and try to reach everybody and continue to inspire everybody in all those positions.
Drew mentioned it's never a worksheet. I was kind of chuckling to myself. I think the only way to amplify a student voice through a worksheet is if they crinkle it up and talk like this. So that's how you amplify voices through worksheets.
Yes.
Well done, man.
Yes.
Creative is right. Well done. Well done.
Love it.
Well, Brad, before we move on, we have a lot of other parts of the show that we'll go on to. But before we move on, is there anything specific that maybe we didn't ask you about or we didn't bring up?
I have a question.
Yeah. Go ahead, Drew.
I want to know about the National Blue Ribbon trip that you took to D.C. in 2010, and I want to hear about it. But I also want to know, kind of what it did for you. Did it professionally, but how it impacted you as a learner, everything?
Sure. Well, I have an answer for you. It might surprise you. So my first year in this district as principal, my predecessor and the staff had worked really hard, and they were recognized in D.C., and I was fortunate enough to fly out there and be able to kind of co-accept on behalf of the faculty, not having done any of that work. And the life-changing experience there, guys, was there was a Monday night football game in town, and our superintendent had mentioned that to me, and I was kind of planning on going, and on the fence, night of the Monday night game, I thought, how often is this going to happen? The Washington taking on the Eagles. So I'm not the biggest traveler, but I got on the subway and took a risk and navigated out to the stadium, got out there, didn't have tickets, and got to the stadium. I was pretty proud of myself just for getting there, and I kind of thought, this is a good story right now. You almost saw a couple scuffles on the subway with the not the cheese head, but the Philly cheesesteak head.
Right.
Nice.
And then I'm thinking to myself, do I go in and try to buy tickets from somebody? I'd never scalped tickets before, and I thought to myself, I am going in that stadium. And I did, and I don't know if you remember back in 2010, the NFL record-setting game where Michael Vick just lit it up.
Yeah, that's right.
Records. I mean, this was a game for the ages. It literally, the word is epic. After the game, I'm thinking to myself, I almost didn't go into that stadium. So since then, I shared this kind of personal story with my faculty over the summer. Enter the stadium, and whatever your stadium is, whatever your passion is, you've gotta don't dabble around in the parking lot. Enter the stadium, and it's similar to Sir Ken Robinson's mantra, being in your element. That's how I feel I am now with kids and our staff and the relationships and trying to work on this meaningful tech integration thing. But it all starts with entering your stadium. So that's probably not the blue ribbon answer you were looking for, but it was life changing.
Tell you right, that wasn't what I was expecting, but it has the same type of message. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you stepped out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Yet it was a learning experience for you to where you weren't, you weren't in your element, but now, through that process and everything, that's kind of what you took out of it.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Drew and I have said this before. We had a chance to meet with Kevin Honeycutt late in the spring last year, and one of the first things he said to us was, "Boys, there's no accidental meetings," and we really took that to heart. And so, ever since then, Drew and I have really taken note of everybody we talked to, the situations we've been put into, the decisions we've had to make, and stuff like we made a decision to get down to ISTE. We did. It really changed mine and Drew's perception of the whole culture of learning and the ed technology and the role education technology has in the buildings and with student learning and engagement. And so, that I think it's a great phrase, enter the stadium, because it's a metaphor for everything in life. Drew and I entered the stadium. We made a decision. You entered the stadium, both literally and figuratively, and it's just something people need to be reminded to do. If we're going to ask our kids to enter the stadium, we need to be sure that we will enter the stadium. If we want the kids to be open to trying things out, and success and failure, we need to as well. You know what? We've said this before. Give a kid an iPad, they start playing. They give us a new piece of technology. Teachers are like, "Where's their professional development?" Yeah, it'd be great if we could get a ton of it, but at some point you gotta talk to your PLN and get your resources. You gotta go to Google, get the tutorial, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes, get your sandbox time and learn how to do things, and be okay with not knowing yet, and then learn, by trying.
I think as a school leader and as teacher leaders, it's important for us to give our coworkers permission to enter the stadium. I think sometimes whether it's the assessment culture, all the different demands that are on a teacher's time, which are insane, and I know that, and you guys know that really well.
Yes.
So part of the job is helping prioritize and giving permission, because I think inside everyone wants to enter that place of passion and their stadium and be in the groove and be with kids. But cutting through some of the barriers to that can be a challenge, and doing it alone, back to the PLN message, doing it alone is really not an option.
You know what? It's almost a choice now. If you want to do it alone, that's a choice that you're making nowadays, because everyone has the possibility to be connected. They have the opportunity to learn from others, and it's their choice to not do it now. They really don't have an excuse anymore, and it's kind of on them. And I think that we're lucky enough. Sometimes they just need that to dip their toes in the water or sit back and kind of observe it first before they, get their hands dirty, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. But it's always sitting back there and never getting your hands dirty. Then when you stop learning it, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know the power that you guys have, because I was somebody who dipped my toe in the water thanks to you, and after you guys helped encourage me, then I backed up and did a running cannonball because I loved it.
He started ambushing people is what he did.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. For those of you just joining us,
my gosh.
Show, we're with Brad Gustafson. He went from dipping his toe in the water to ambushing us on our own show. So
in your own house.
In my own house. He threw it down, and you know what? I give you tons of kudos on that. That might be one of the coolest moments we've had on the show, and thank you for that comment that we helped you and inspired you. We really appreciate that. We've been fortunate to be given this voice and this platform, and we try to use it responsibly and to really try to inspire people from all over the world to just reach out, get inspired, do what you can. Don't be afraid to fail. Do it, learn, but you know what? There's people around you. There's people in your building. There's people in other states. Social media allows you to connect with those people. We've become really good friends with people all over the world now that we talk to on a regular basis because of the social media. This allows us to find like-minded people that we can collaborate and talk with. So reach out to your PLN, everybody. It's truly life-changing and game-changing. So great words and a great story there, Brad.
Thanks.
I love it. Okay, Brad, should we move to your favorite part of the show? Well, or should I say my favorite part of the show?
Are you talking about the playlist?
I'm talking about the playlist. Let's get to the playlist. Or do you want to do Twitter shout-outs first? Which one do you want to do?
You know what? Let's do the Twitter shout-outs. And then I have a couple bulletin points I have to say. But yeah, let's do Twitter shout-outs. I have a couple news bullets that I have to say. And then we will do my favorite segment and Drew's favorite segment that I could do for him if he were sleeping.
Oh, no, you can't.
Not tonight?
No. I'm bringing a surprise today.
Oh my God! I think Drew's going to order something other than a plain cheeseburger. Oh my God! I can't wait because there's two things I can do for Drew. I can order in a restaurant and I can tell you what's on his playlist.
So that's great.
It up tonight. So all right, let's move on to our Twitter PLN shoutouts. Brad, why don't you go first? This is our segment where we like to shout out people on Twitter or people in our PLN, kind of say who they are and then how people can get a hold of them. So why don't you give us who is in your Twitter PLN shout out tonight?
Sure. I got to give credit to where credit is due. Somebody I not only consider a trusted colleague now, but a friend, and that'd be Todd Nesloni, Tech Ninja Todd. He's always been there with questions and help and innovation, and he's been an inspiration. So I just want to start off with that. And that one doesn't even count. I have another one.
Okay, all right. Yeah, fair enough. That's fine.
The Charles Cooper, and his Twitter handle is at THRASYMACHUS. Yep. And his wife actually is a teacher, Heather Cooper. She's at HCooper815. She's my partner in crime on the World Book Talk. Two outstanding resources. And then you mentioned the 3 leaders making videos earlier, and 2 guys. It's been a privilege to get to know Tony Sananis. He's at Cantiag Lead, CANTIAGUE_lead, and then John Fritzky at John FRITZKY. So those are my shout-outs, and they're enriching my work and kind of adding to the inspiration and adding a little spring in my step each day.
Awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, I saw you tweet out today, and it was pretty funny. You said, "Hey guys, is it just me, or is everybody hoping that time would fly so we can get started on the 2 guys show?" He goes, but then here comes the next comment. "I haven't been this excited since I left for work this morning." I'm like, that guy loves his job because he's excited. So right on.
Oh,
that's true.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. All right, well, great, Brad. Thank you for sharing those people in your PLN, and great people. We know some of them as well. All right, Drew, so who's going to be getting shout-outs from you tonight? I know there's always a list of 50 we could say, but who is it tonight?
Yeah, I've got a couple I don't believe we've shouted out before. On her, I'm guessing her last name's Batista, because her Twitter handle is at Miss Batista L. But her name just on there is Letty, and she did a pumpkin life cycle with Erasmus.
Yeah, really cool.
You see that?
Yeah, it was really
on top of a pumpkin, blew the minds of her students and her parents, it sounded like.
Yep.
So that was pretty amazing.
Very cool.
And Jenks is at AJAY460, and she was also talking about that, going back and forth with Letty about the pumpkin life cycle and kind of how that went. That was awesome. And then someone who we've interacted with for a while is Daisy Marino at DaisyRay215. She follows the show and does some awesome things as well. So those are my 3 shout-outs.
Great shout-outs. Yeah, nice job. All right.
Thanks, Brad.
Oh, you're welcome, Drew. I approve. Well done. I approve of your message.
Thank you.
All right. My shout-outs tonight, I know one of them is with us right now, Kristen Evelyn. This is a really cool story, Kristen. I know you're watching right now. She said, yeah, your PLN can truly be life-changing. So, hey, Kristen, here comes a shout-out for you.
By the way, Brad stole this one for me. I just want to say
I did.
We're both going to give you a shout-out. And one of his other ones he stole from me, too. So
you know what? Hey, you know what? I started.
That just shows how awesome she is being.
Absolutely. So her story is really cool. She's a 5th grade teacher in Santee, California. She just was watching our AR 101 show, and she's really excited about using AR. One of the really cool things is she wrote a grant for some iPads, and she wrote a grant for 34 iPads and got it. So big props.
iPad minis.
That was awesome. So we're excited to see how her journey goes. So good luck with that. You can get a hold of her on Twitter, which is at KEveland, which is KEVELAND2, the number 2. You can see her on the Twitter feed if you check out #2GuysShow. She's on right now, so you can give her a shout out and connect with her. Second one is Matt Leiser. On Twitter, he's at Mr. Leiser, which is Mr. Leiser. He's a second grade teacher. He emailed, I think, both Drew and I last week or two, and he's a second grade teacher. He's been doing a word wall, and he augmented his word wall where students get the definition and everything, and they create it, and they're responsible for that word. And so he tweeted out some pictures of it this week, which is really cool. So it looks like he's pretty young, so new teacher. He's got a lot of cool things ahead of him, embracing the technology, which is great. So Matt Leiser at Mr. Leiser. In this third one, I was, Drew knows him, and I was telling Brad about him before the show. I really hope people in the Twitter world will tweet him out tonight as much as you can. His name is Randy English. He's a principal at a middle school in our district, and he is absolutely an amazing administrator. He's leading his building in incredible ways. I had a long conversation. He's a dear friend of mine. We went to school together. We actually taught 5th grade together for years, and then he got on the administrative track, and he is now principal of a building. You can reach him. Please, somebody acknowledge him on Twitter tonight. He is at @renglish.
Craig will do it.
Craig will do it. renglish71. So he's at renglish71. He is doing some amazing PD innovations and technology in his building. He needs to get on the social media, and just people need to hear his story because he is truly an amazing administrator. So
Mark Schlereth.
Yes, that's oh my God, that's so funny, Drew.
First time I met him, he had a goatee, and he looks exactly like Mark Schlereth.
Yes, he
sure, it is scary. He should have been Mark Schlereth for Halloween.
Yeah, it is uncanny. And then, gosh, there's a ton of people who are watching tonight. Paul Wagner, always checking in. Did some great stuff last weekend. I think it was at camp. Did AR. Craig. Let's see who else is. Heather's out. Oh, Heather just jumped on.
Hey, Brad.
Yeah.
Did you see 611 Spartan? So Jason Wenschlag is watching, and he tweeted out about the basketball dunking thing, and appreciated that. But he said he can dunk and palm a ball. And I tweeted him back, and I said, I'm jealous of anyone that can dunk without jumping, and I think that's Jason. So.
Oh, nice, well done, awesome. So, and also, shout out to everybody watching the show. The Twitter feed is great tonight. Thank you for using the #2GuysShow. Drew, I got a couple quick bullet points I want to shout out.
Do it.
Our AR Detroit meeting. It is not just for people locally, and I tweeted this out. If you are in Metro Detroit or within a drive to the city of Detroit, roughly, our AR Detroit meeting is Monday night at 7. That's if you want to be face-to-face. If not, we are going to be broadcasting the Hangout live. It actually got a lot of views, a lot of people watching from the last one. It's going to be even better now that we know people want to see it. So we're going to broadcast that event live. That is Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern. So join us for that. You'll be seeing the tweets. We got some great demos and some great discussion that'll be following.
And I got confirmation today, Brad, on one of the demos.
Did you get confirmation?
I'm super pumped about, and that's Occipital. Jeff Powers from Occipital doing Structure Sensor, which just ended its campaign on Kickstarter with almost $1.3 million raised.
And how much were they asking?
100,000.
So they got 10.
I think it was funded in like 3 hours.
It was funded in the first day. So Jeff Powers from Occipital, that is going to be absolutely fantastic. That is mind-blowing technology because when you're in the industry and it blows your mind, it really is something to be seen. So we're going to have a great demo. So I recommend people, if you're close, drive in for face-to-face. If not, check out the live event on Google Hangout. One other shout-out is I got to shout out Shannon Miller because we were chatting this week, and it was cool. Through Twitter, she made me aware of the Iowa Bully Prevention Summit in Iowa yesterday, actually, and she took.
Yeah, I saw her tweets on that. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was cool. We were able to get the event live up on the TV, and we watched some of the presentations. So she's a friend of the show and always doing amazing things out there in Iowa. So another bullet point I wanted to put out there, and congrats to other people in our PLN. So
awesome.
That's great stuff. That's all the Twitter shout-outs. Thank you, everybody. And there's so many more people in our PLN that we appreciate, so thank you, everyone. And now, on to one of my favorite part of the show. I built this in the system because I think it's so fun sharing what music you have, and I like to hear what people like to listen to. So it sounds like Drew's going to order something more than a cheeseburger tonight. And I'm really excited. I'm so excited about that, Drew. That's great. So, but what we're going to do is we're going to let our guest go. So, Brad, this is your chance to kind of say, all right, here's what I'm listening to. Here's what's on my playlist. So what you got for us tonight?
All right, I can relate to Drew here, so don't pick on him. I am like the repeat. I'll hit repeat, and over and over and over, it'll play. And usually it's Kenny Chesney, Boys of Fall, or anything like that.
It's a great song. Great.
I did hear a song on the radio this morning driving into work that I thought was fabulous. It was by Catherine McPhee. It's actually called Connected. It was on a Christian radio station. And I was listening to it, and I was connecting to my relationship with God, but also to this may sound a little weird, but to my PLN and how the support is
connected. There. Right.
So I jotted down just a quick verse, and this is my only song, so I'm going to just share a quick lyric. But the song talks about I feel connected, protected, like you're sitting right with me all the time, and having a PLN, some educators that you can count on, like you guys, and like the other people that I didn't mention tonight. It's a big deal, and our kids are the winners when you get connected. So that's my one song. We'll have to have Drew carry us the rest of this segment.
Well, that is great, Brad. And that Boys of Fall song, I'll never forget when it came out. My son was just going into high school, and he had just made the soccer team, and that song was coming out, and he identified with it because it's like, I've got your back, you're part of my team, you're part of my PLN, and this is something that we say to each other all the time, I've got your back, like our PLN is out there on Twitter, but we also have like group messages, there's, we chat and we share things and we support each other and pick each other up, and we've always got each other's back, so great choice there. So, all right, Drew, well, you're gonna carry us, let's go. What do you got tonight?
I've got 3 songs from 2 different albums. As you guys know, last week we did not have our show at the normal time. We had to have it on Monday because I went to a concert, which Brad was super proud about. He almost died when I told him why I wanted to switch the show. But there's a band called The Head and the Heart. Definitely have to check them out. They're almost kind of like folks. They're kind of like Mumford & Sons a little bit. One song is called Rivers and Roads. And the other one that I'm going to shout out tonight is Down in the Valley. Those are the 2 songs that I'm going to shout out. And then I'm going to flip the page to the complete opposite, genre, and we're going to go with the new Eminem album that came out today, the Marshall Mathers LP2, and the song with Rihanna called The Monster.
Yeah, cool. And yeah, he did another song with Rihanna. That's pretty cool. So,
aren't you proud of me, Brad?
Drew, you know what? I am really proud of you. So when we're sitting at dinner, when we're in Columbus in January, or we're in Orlando in January, or wherever, I'll be curious and I'll see what you order. So if you change it'll
be a cheeseburger.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Good. Yeah, you can't throw me too much for a loop. I might have a heart attack right there. So I am proud of you. Nice job. But the funny thing is, Drew, is I'm gonna share a song that's really probably on one of your playlists too, because I've really come around to it. I got 3 songs tonight. Counting Stars by One Republic.
Oh yes.
Gosh, I've been listening to it for a few weeks now, but now I just can't get enough of it. So when I hear it, I just make sure I keep it on and listen to it. So I don't know, I love it. They have so much great stuff. I know that's one of your favorite bands, Drew.
That is one of my favorites.
For sure. All right, this one's pretty cool. I'm always love some of her stuff. It's called "I Wish" by Cher Lloyd. She. Hey, I do have a high schooler, so he's like in love with. Well, I can't say it. He really likes her. Let me just say that. He really does like her. Where he put her picture on. Actually,
on the Mini, I saw it earlier.
Yeah, oh yeah, so you can see I got my Mini, and he put her picture on my Mini. So, but Cher Lloyd is called "I Wish." She is out of the UK. She was she was in the UK X Factor. She didn't win, but she's really good. Another song is called "All Night" by Iconopop. It's just a fun, upbeat song. So you may or may not have heard it. And then I'm just going to shout out 2 artists. I talk about Katie Groves all the time.
Yes, you do.
I do, and she has her own playlist on my iPad. So it's great stuff. And then Asher Monroe, still trying to make it happen. Hopefully he'll be a guest on our show at some point. We're still in the works to get him on. Might have to record a segment and then put him on our live show. So
yep.
So that's awesome. So that's our songs on your playlist. Anything else, Drew? Before we start wrapping this up officially, we need to go through everybody's health contact information. So, all right. So, Brad, why don't we start with you? We see your lower thirds. You've got your Twitter handle on there. How can people get a hold of you?
Yeah, I think Twitter's probably the best way. I do have a blog that has some AR resources and the World Book Talk information. And just to reiterate, the World Book Talk, I think the more titles that we have, the better for kids. So anyone's welcome. The goal is a 1-minute video, and Heather and I will take care of creating the Aura and Erasma, and we'll get you set up with directions on how to access. It's pretty painless. And on the blog, all the info's there. So it's all connected via Twitter.
Big shout out to Heather for helping you with that. That is awesome.
Yeah. Oh, she's great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Very cool.
All right, Drew, how can everybody get a hold of you?
At TechMinoc on Twitter, obviously, is the easiest way. You can always check us out at Two Guys and Some iPads. Also, if you get a chance, head on over to iTunes, leave a rating of just kind of how the show's going. Definitely subscribe on iTunes. Or, as always, you can head over to Stitcher and head to the Ed Reed section there and check it out and follow us on there. Subscribe that way, too. You can give us a like on Facebook, follow us on Pinterest, and definitely check out the new AR post on Edutopia that I co-wrote with our good friend Tech Ninja Todd Nesloni, a.k.a. everything he touches turns to gold. And definitely check that out on Edutopia. It's gives you a bunch of different resources and apps that you can use in your classroom right now and ideas of how to use them. So definitely check that out.
Absolutely. And Drew, I want to ask you about that article maybe next week, so I want to get a little information on where the inspiration for that article came from. I think it'd be good for our audience to hear. So yeah. Be ready for that next week. All right. You can find me. I am Brad Wade. You can get a hold of me on Twitter at TechBradWade. You can obviously find us at twoguysomeipads.com. If you are on Instagram, you can follow our Instagram account. We're at Two Guys Some iPads. You can see some behind-the-scenes stuff, and you can also just see me being silly with my kids and things I do. And Drew,
you haven't made a video where it's like right at your face when you start on your Instagram videos, and then you go to it. I'm kind of disappointed you haven't.
I know. I knew you were going to say that. I haven't made one of those in a couple weeks, so I'll have to do that because I get a lot of grief for that frame that you start. And it's my mug right there. You know, it's me smiling as I'm walking into the building like. Drew and I are getting ready for a conference call. Hey, we're getting ready for the show tonight. Hey, we're doing this. Check out what we're doing, you know. So
it cracks me up. I love it.
I'll make one tomorrow with something interesting. So you can follow us on that. Drew handles a lot of the other social media, and you can like us on Facebook. And of course, we want to say thank you to the EdReach Network for the Two Guys show. We appreciate all their support and giving us our place to have a large voice and connect with awesome educators like Brad. So thank you for joining us tonight. Anything else, Drew, before we sign off?
No. Make sure that you follow EdReach Network on Twitter at EdReach not at dot. It's just EdReach Us on Twitter and hashtag EduWins because they're collecting EduWins as well. So definitely, if you know of an EduWin, hashtag EduWin on Twitter as well. But thank you for joining us. As always, on the Two Guys Show, and same time, same place, next Tuesday night.
All right, so thank you, Brad. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Brad, very much. Awesome.
Yeah,
it was a blast.
Well, thank you. And next week we have, can we say who it is, Drew?
If you want, yeah.
Yeah, next week we have the people from Michelin Media, the creators
of... Oh, no, that's in 2 weeks. We got the Michelin Media in 2 weeks. That's the 19th. I thought you were going to surprise me with somebody. That's why I was like, yeah, well said.
All right, my bad. All right, no, I got 2 people in the works. We're trying to get the schedules figured.
Too funny.
Hey, you thought I was going to AR, you know?
Yeah, ambushed me for a minute.
No, best part of the show up to date. That was great. Brad, thank you for joining us. Drew, thank you as always. Good job tonight. Thank you for joining us, everybody, tonight. Check in with us next week. Stay connected to your PLN. Reach out. Make a difference this week. Just remember that you can because you matter and you're making a difference. Stay connected, my friends, and we will talk to you soon.
All right. See you later.